What is going on, everybody? So something new as I'm doing this. Sorry. So I am doing this live because for the first time since I've been covering the NJCAA National Tournament, I have been out of town for the first day. So I didn't get a chance to do my traditional day one recaps and then get into day two and then just be a day behind. I would rather just get day one completely over with as they're getting ready to tip off the final game of day one. So let's just go ahead and go over the craziness that has already been the NJCAA tournament here in 2026. So, without further ado, game one was between the Daytona State College and Jones College. Daytona State led 44-33 at the end of one and was able to expand on it, outscoring Jones 59-41 for a 103-74 game one victory. Let's go ahead and go and look at the team stats. Daytona State was 37 of 73 from the field, while Jones was a measly 24 of 68. So Daytona State was on fire, 50.7% compared to Jones's 35.3. It didn't hurt that Daytona State also drilled 17 three-pointers compared to Jones's 7. Free throw wise, it was Jones that was in the favor, 19 of 32 compared to 12 of 21. So both teams did not shoot the free throw particularly well, although Daytona State did out-rebound Jones 51-39 and had only one more turnover, but capitalized on the turnovers they got from Jones with 15 points, also getting 9 second chance points and dominating the paint 36-32 there. The bench points, Daytona State led the way with 33 of those compared to 11 from Jones, with the largest lead being the 29 that we saw. And Jones actually led this game for a little bit and led by as many as 5. We had 3 lead changes and 1 tie in this. Now, let's go ahead and go into the box score here. First, for, I believe it's going to be the Falcons of Daytona State. It is Adrian Shackleton was 8 of 13 shooting from the field, 6 of 7 from behind the arc. Had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 block shots. He finished with 24 points. Noah Mendy was 8 of 15 from the field, 2 of 6 from behind the arc. Had 15 rebounds total, and 12 of them being on the defensive side. He also dished out 6 assists for 19 points. And finally, the final Falcon in double figures starter-wise was Tyrese Lacey, 6 of 9 shooting from the field, 13 points with 2 turnovers, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Off the bench, the Falcons only had 1 player in double figures. That was CJ Hall, 5 of 9 shooting from the field for him. He had 3 steals and 2 rebounds, finishing with 15 points. He was 2 of 5 from behind the arc and 3 of 4 from the foul line. Like I said, as a team, shooting 57% from the foul lines is not particularly good. But when you shoot 50% from the field in total, you're going to win a lot of games, especially when you have Jones on the other end not shooting particularly well. For the Bobcats, they had 4 starters in double figures. They were led by Jay Tyler, who was 6 of 17 shooting from the field, having 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. He finished with 18 points. Bob Dixon also was in double figures, 6 of 13 shooting from the field, 4 of 7 from the foul line, grabbing 6 of his 7 rebounds on the defensive side of the glass, finishing with 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 3 fouls. He finished with 16 points. Adding 14 points was Braylon Barnes for the Bobcats. 4 of 11 shooting from the field, 10 defensive rebounds, so nice double-double for him. Also 5 assists. And finally, Dylan Rowe, 4 of 16 shooting from the field, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. He finished with 12. Off the bench, It was Karen Jackson, who was 3 of 8 shooting from the field. All 3 of those made buckets were from behind the arc. He was 3 of 6. He also had 4 rebounds and 3 assists. He finished with 11 points for the Bobcats of Jones College. So Daytona State goes ahead and marches on in the bracket. They will be taking on the top overall seed in that one. As I'm trying to get everything together, like I said, this was spur of the moment. But so yeah, Daytona State advances to the round of 16, and they'll play on Monday. Let's just go ahead. And again, you're just seeing this for the first time like I am. So quickly, they'll take on Howard at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. All my times here are Eastern because I am in the Eastern Time Zone. And just to spoil a little bit of the rest of the round for you there. Now let's just go ahead and get back to my scores. And go back to yesterday. And talk about Barton and New Mexico. New Mexico was able to pull out a surprising upset because of Barton's history in this tournament. New Mexico led by 4 at the break and was able to expand it a little bit more with the 63-54. So this was a track meet in the second half for a 103-90 victory for the Thunderbirds. One of the coolest nicknames of the tournament by far. Let's just go ahead and look at, again, making sure I see this here. Yep, okay, I'm good. I know, sorry. Let's go, not to play-by-play, let's go to the team stats. New Mexico was 34 of 72, good for 47%, but Barton wasn't scared. They shot 44% from the field. New Mexico was just able to hit 2 more three-pointers. They took 10 more shots, though, than Barton did. And free throw-wise, 34-31, only hitting 1 more free throw there. Rebounding, the Thunderbirds won that battle 46-35. Assists, 20-15, and lost the turnover battle. Once again, the winning team loses the turnover battle, but only by 1. So 10-9 in the turnover battle. Both teams really took care of the ball and couldn't really execute on the turnovers. Both teams only 10 points and 9 points respectively. Second chance points was huge for the Thunderbirds, 22 second chance points compared to 12 for Barton. And the points in the paint also favors the winning team. Largest lead for the Thunderbirds, like I said, they were in control for most of the night. Got a little close there towards the end, and then they reclaimed at the end of the first half, then they reclaimed the lead, start the second half. They had 6 ties and 4 lead changes in this one. Let's go ahead and do individual breakdowns for this game. Starting once again with the higher seed, New Mexico Junior College. They were led by R.J. Nance, who was 7 of 10 shooting from the field, 4 of 7 from behind the arc, had 5 rebounds and finished with 23 points. DeLong Muin was 6 of 16 shooting from the field, 2 of 9 from behind the arc, having 7 rebounds, 3 block shots. He finished with 18 points for the Thunderbirds. Laje Kobaleri was 5 of 8 shooting from the field. He had 15 points, had 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 block shots as well for New Mexico. Off the bench, Michael Mackey was 3 of 8 shooting from the field, had 3 rebounds, and finished with 10 points. For Barton, they had a couple in double figures, but here's the biggest thing that surprised me a little bit for Barton. 2 starters did not score. John Bird and Malak Cool did not score. So that was huge for the Thunderbirds to be able to pull out this upset. Sebastian Munich was 6 of 9 shooting from the field, 3 of 4 from behind the arc. Had 6 rebounds as well. He finished with 15 points. Noah Williams was 6 of 14 shooting from the field, 9 of 10 from the foul line. Had 4 rebounds and 23 points, while Aris Rodriguez was 5 of 12 shooting from the field, had 4 defensive rebounds, 2 assists, and 12 points. Off the bench, couple people in double figures for Barton as they end their year. 5 of 11 shooting from the field was Brian Sullivan Jr. for 14 points. And Blake Rucker was 5 of 8 shooting from the field. He finished with 15 points, both grabbing 5 and 6 rebounds, respectively. And Brian Sullivan Jr. had 6 assists as well. Once again, just too much for Barton to come back with. And let's just go ahead and look at let's go over here now as we look to New Mexico, who, once again, they advance. They'll take on CSI tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern time for that one. That should be a good game, especially with how New Mexico took on a very high team in Barton earlier, a team that's almost always in the tournament earlier. So the pressure of Hutch was not too much for the Thunderbirds as they make a return trip to Hutch. For Barton, once again, a great season, just falls short of their ultimate goal. As I'm trying to get back to the box scores. There we go. Game 3, and this is when I got back to my hotel room and was able to watch this a little bit. The first 2 games, I was at a wedding. Like I said, my brother just got married, so got to enjoy that, spend time with family, got back to the hotel room, and turned on the Monroe versus Mineral Area game as soon as I could. And this one was interesting to say the least. Monroe led by 10 at the break, and Mineral Area made it a game, cutting it in half, just not to be for the Cardinals, as the Mustangs, who I believe are moving to Division II next year, NCAA D2, so this is their last year in JUCO, pull out a 77-72 victory there. Let's go ahead and look at team stats. Oh, no. What is going on here? This shouldn't not happen because we are at Hutch, people. For those loyal viewers, yeah, I have no stats on this game. And this is on the NJCAA website. No stats for Monroe, the winning team, so I can't say how they were able to beat the Cardinals. That is disappointing. You can watch the replay of the game on ESPN Plus, and if you have Disney Plus, you can watch it there as well. So I'll just say for Mineral Area, they were led in scoring by Nazir Allen, who was 9 of 13 shooting from the field, perfect from the foul line, had 14 rebounds, 2 block shots, and 3 turnovers. He finished with 26 points. Nasser Binyan was 4 of 7 shooting from the field. He had 3 offensive rebounds. He finished with 10 points, and Taryn Garrett was 6 of 21 shooting from the field, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block shot. He finished with 16 points. Lorenzo Shields came off the bench for the Cardinals, 3 of 4 shooting from the field, 2 of 3, from behind the arc. He finished with 10 points. But once again, I don't know how this happened since we're at Hutch, and they have stats for everybody else, but there is no stats for the victorious Monroe University Mustangs. So let's just go ahead and head back over here and see that Monroe will take on the 4C Trinity Valley, 6:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. So congratulations to Monroe, and a great season for Mineral Area that just fell short of their goal. The final game of Hutch took overtime to get there. Brunswick, oh boy, the Dolphins. They were down big in the first half. They come back, tie it in the second, and then just run out of gas in overtime as they fall 82-79 to Gulf Coast State. Let's go ahead and look at team stats, and I swear if there's no stats here, there we go. We have stats. So Don't know what went on with the Monroe one. Brunswick was 24 of 64. And I apologize. I am going to get, see, chat here. Close. Okay. Let's see if I can't pull chat. Oh, there we go. Okay. Nope. Okay, cool. So Brunswick, 24 of 64, while Gulf Coast State was 28 of 77. 9 of 24 from behind the arc for Brunswick, and Gulf Coast was 9 of 37. So both teams shot it relatively mediocre. Brunswick was able to hit a couple more threes to get them back into the second half, while Gulf Coast State was 24% from behind the arc. Again, sub 40 from the game for both teams. Rebounding wise, Gulf Coast State won this one 51 to 45. The assist battle 19 to 15, and won the turnover battle. So we finally have a winning team that wins the turnover battle 11 to 16. Points off turnover 17 to 11. Second chance points essentially even at 22 to 19. Points in the paint favored Gulf Coast State 34-28. And again, you see the largest lead for Gulf Coast was 16. Largest lead for the Dolphins was 5. 4 ties, 4 lead changes in this game. So let's go ahead and look at the scoring for both teams. Brunswick, they were led by Elias Bauer, 9 of 19 shooting from the field, 6 of 11 from behind the arc, and 6 of 7 from the foul line. Had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals with 30 points. Linwood Rowe was 5 of 10 shooting from the field, had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and finished with 20 points. Jamie Brooks was 2 of 3, and he had 4 points. So 2 of your players scored 50 of your 79 points, and you had no other player in double figures. The only other one that was close was Blake Bartney, 2 of 6 shooting from the field, 2 of 5 from behind the arc, finishing with 8 points. For Gulf Coast State, they were led by Trent Lincoln, 8 of 19 shooting from the field, 4 of 9 from behind the arc, finishing with 25 points with 2 steals, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Adding 18 points was Devontae Cobbs, who, like I said, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 6 of 15 shooting from the field, and 3 of 8 from behind the arc. And finally, Iran Francis was 8 of 10 shooting from the field, finishing with 19 points, had 14 rebounds, and 8 of those 14 being on the offensive side of the floor. And he also had 4 block shots to go along with it. He was in a little bit of foul trouble with 4, but was able to finish the game out strong for Gulf Coast State. So once again, last game went into overtime, and that's not going to be the only overtime game that we see here, as we see Gulf Coast State right here. They advance to take on Indian Hills in the game on Monday, tomorrow, essentially, at around this time tomorrow. So, once again, great matchups for day 3 of Hutch. And let's just go ahead and go on back. Yeah, so now let's go ahead and head into today's games. Once again, just being able to sit back and enjoy at least this last one. I don't know why these are here, because they're not part of it. The first game of the day pitted the number 1 team in the last poll, the first, or one of the at-large bids to get in, was Snow. They dominated Trinidad State, scoring 54 points in the first half, and then 74 in the second. This was taking Trinidad State just to the woodshed and giving them the business. We could look at the team stats, but it's going to tell me what I already figured out. Snow, 63% from the floor and 67% from behind the arc. Yeah, you're not going to be able to beat anybody if your opponent is hitting that, as that was my phone. So unfortunately for Trinidad State, they just ran into a very mad Snow Badgers team. And Manning Sharif, he finished the day with 9 of 16 shooting from the field, 5 rebounds, and 25 points. Dylan Inu was 7 of 16 shooting with 16 points. And that was... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Demore Pritchett was 9 of 15, 4 of 8 from behind the arc with 26 points off the bench for Trinidad State. For Snow College, they were led in scoring by McCaden Adams, who was 10 of 13 shooting from the field, 7 of 9 from behind the arc with 30 points, having 5 assists and 4 rebounds as well. And then Sean Feltz was 12 of 18 shooting from the field, 3 of 4 from behind the arc, grabbing 12 rebounds in the double-double. For him, he finished with 27 points. And Brock McClure finished with 14 points, 11 rebounds, another double-double for the Snow Badgers. So big round of applause for Snow there. He was 6 of 12 shooting from the field, 2 of 4 from behind the arc. Off the bench, Keegan Catton was 6 of 7, a perfect 4 of 4 from behind the arc. He finished with 19 points, and Kyle Lemke was 6 of 8 shooting from the field. He finished with 12 points for Snow. Once again, there's not much to say. Snow led this and did not let go of it for a single second. As we'll go back to the stat line here, maybe. No, okay. So the second game that finished was a good one. And just for giggles, let's go ahead and show Snow here. Snow winning here. They'll take on Butler in that 8-9 matchup. That's always fun to watch, as long as you're not a part of it. Now, the South Georgia State Hawks versus the Walters State team. This one finished up this was the second game of the day, so it's nice and finished up. And we have stats. Good, because like I said, we should not have a team with no stats on Hutch Week. South Georgia State, again, a team shooting just bonkers. 60% from the field. This is how Walter State won this. It was closer at 93-84. Walter State led by 7 at the break and then just extended it to 9 afterwards. But they shot 60% from the field compared to South Georgia State's 41%. 9 of 21 from behind the arc for Walters and 7 of 18 for South Georgia. Free throw-wise, pretty much even. South Georgia had a little bit more attempts. 29, or actually, no, I'm sorry. That was completely wrong. South Georgia State dominated the free throw line, getting to the line 36 times compared to Walters State 31, but making 29 of those 36 free throws for an 81%, if you round up, clip compared to Walters State 58%. Rebounding-wise, Walters State dominated the boards 42 here, but they turned the ball over 21 times. Oofa! The only reason they won this game was because they shot lights out. That is tough to turn the ball over 21 times. And South Georgia was able to capitalize that for 23 of their points off those turnovers. But Walters State dominated the paint with 46 points in the paint compared to 30 for South Georgia. And they had 45 points off their bench. We had 3 ties and 2 lead changes in this game. For the South Georgia Hawks, who end an incredible season, they were led by Jeremy Anderson, who was 6 of 9 shooting from the field. 9 of 12 from the free throw line, had 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. He finished with 21 points. Chandler Thomas was 3 of 9 shooting from the field, but he got to the line 16 times. Holy moly. Finishing with 4 assists and 5 steals. He finished with 19 points. And finally, Trey Calloway was 3 of 13 shooting from the field. He had 3 offensive rebounds out of his 5 total, had an assist and a steal as well. He finished with 10 points for the Hawks. Off the bench, Davian Thomas, was 4 of 5 shooting from the field, 3 of 3 from behind the arc. He finished with 13 points. And Dominic Wright was 5 of 8 shooting, 4 of 6 from behind the arc. He finished with 14. Once again, just being able to hit your threes was not enough for South Georgia State. Now for Walters State, they were led in scoring by Taquez Butler, who was 7 of 12 shooting from the field, 22 points. He finished with also 6 rebounds and 6 assists to go along with a steal. Damore Lynch was 5 of 9 shooting from the field, had 8 rebounds defensively, 10 rebounds total for a double-double. He finished with 13 points, also had 2 block shots and a steal. Jamar Livingston was 2 of 6 from the field for Walters State. He finished with 6 points. Off the bench, there were 2 of Walters State players in double figures. They were led by Carter Webb, who was 5 of 7 shooting from the field, 4 of 6 from behind the arc. He finished with 17 points, also grabbing 2 rebounds and 2 assists. And Brian Carter finished with 15 points off of a 6 of 7 shooting performance, having 6 rebounds and 3 assists as well. For Walters State, who will move on and take on Midland, and they will actually play Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again, all these times that I'm giving out are Eastern time because that is when that is where I am at. I'm located in Indiana, so I go by Eastern time zone. Everything else, if you look at the official brackets, they are in Central time because that is where Hutchinson, Kansas is. So I will make sure that I make that relevant every time that I say a time, which is about this. So let's go ahead and look at the final game that just wrapped up at the sports arena. Northeastern Oklahoma, Enid pulls out the huge upset over South Plains, winning this one 81-78 in overtime. I turned on the last couple minutes of overtime in this one, and I was shocked to say the least because South Plains, they are known for being in Hutch every single year. Northern Oklahoma, Enid has been at Hutch the last couple of years, but once again, when you have a blue blood in JUCO in South Plains, you kind of expect them to at least win the first game. That did not happen here. Congratulations to the Jets. And by the ESPN Plus announcers, they actually controlled this game for most of it, and South Plains came back in the second half. So let's go ahead and look at the team stats. Both teams. Ooh, big thunderclap. 27-65 for Northern Oklahoma, and 24-64 for South Plains. South Plains was able to hit 13 of their 33 pointers. Well, NOC-Enid was 9 of 25 from behind the arc. NOC was 8 of 24 from the free throw line compared to South Plains, 17 of 27. And again, towards the end of that overtime period, that was huge. I think they only missed 1 free throw, and they still almost went into double overtime. Rebounding-wise, for Northern Oklahoma, Enid, 42 for South Plains, 40. Assists, 19-15 in favor of the Jets. Turnovers, South Plains turned it over 16 times compared to Northern Oklahoma, 14. But the Texans were able to get points off their turnovers, while the Jets not so lucky. Points in the paint, pretty much even, same as second chance points. The largest lead was 9 for the Jets and 8 for the Texans, We had 11 lead changes and 6 ties in this game. So let's go ahead and look at, for the NOC-Enid Jets, all 5 starters in double figures, 2 with 17 points. Riley Short and Darian Grant with, like I said, each was 17. Shore was 6 of 14 shooting from the field and 3 of 7 from behind the arc. Had 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocked shots, while Grant was 5 of 8 shooting from the field, had 6 of 8 from the foul line, had 9 of his 10 rebounds being on the defensive side, also had 2 assists and 4 steals. Then we had Dontrell Yearby, who was 4 of 5 shooting from the field, 3 of 4 from behind the arc, had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 15 points. And Gavin Bernard was 4 of 11 shooting from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, finishing with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 13 points. The last one in double figures was Kawan Payne with 5 of 14 shooting from the field, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 12 points. Off the bench, the Jets had nobody close to being in double figures. For the Texans, they had 2 starters in double figures. Alanta Sentinel was 5 of 13 shooting from the field, 5 of 9 from behind the arc, finishing with 19 points. And Keith Richards had 16 points off of a 3 of 10 shooting performance, 9 of 11 from the foul line, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, while Sentinel had 8 rebounds and 2 assists. Off the bench for the Texans, finishing with 18 points, was Dion Ware, who was 6 of 14 shooting from the field, 3 of 6 from behind the arc, had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal as well. For the Texans, just falling short, able to come back a little bit in this one. This game just finished up about half an hour ago before I clicked record or go live here. Sorry, itchy nose. So let's go ahead and look at who NOC-Enid will play, even though we've seen it a couple times. They'll take on the Indians of Tripola Tuesday night at 6:30 Eastern Time for that one. So let's go ahead and look at the live stats of this game. Last game of the day between Bishop State and Northwest Florida State. The winner here will get the last bid into the Sweet 16 and take on Vincennes, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Right now, close game. Bishop State with a trailing by 1 point, 15-16, 8:53 left to go in the first half. And they just took a defensive rebound. Let's see if I can get anything here stat-wise. I can. So, again, as we're watching this live, Bishop State, 6 of 16 shooting from the field early, compared to Northwest Florida State, 7 of 20. Both teams not shooting it super great from behind the arc. Free throws, not shooting it super well either. 4 turnovers for the Bobcats compared to 3 for Northwest Florida State. The rebounding is pretty much even at 13-12. The blocks and the steals, Northwest Florida State has the slight advantage right now in the second chance points, 8-4. And Bishop State just took the lead. Holy moly. Points in the paint, 10-6. And fast break points, 4-2. Individual stats. Again, this is super, super early, and I'm not going to be streaming this whole game. Bishop State, they are currently led by Tremello Carter, who is 3 of 4 shooting from the field, 1 of 1 from behind the arc. And then you have... He's the only one with double field goals made, or multiple field goals made here, and the only 3-pointer for Bishop State. And okay, yeah, Northwest Florida State just took a 4-point lead here. So yeah, I will be watching this one as soon as I sign off, as they have Braylon Roman 2 of 5 shooting so far with 2 assists, Jonas Nichols 2 of 3, Demarion Van Kelly 2 of 3, Johnny Pierce 2 of 4, and Justin Burns 1 of 2, but 7 rebounds for Burns. Again, this one started late, and you see the CDT for Central Daylight Time, 8 p.m. That is not when this started. Because of the overtime they took on, it took a little bit longer for them to get started. But so far, I think we're at the under 8 timeout. 7:15 left to go in the first half. 21-17. Bishop State trails by 4. Again, winner gets Vincennes. But yeah, I figured if I could not, I did not want to put out something that was at least 2 days old, so I decided to go live for this one. Again, about 36 minutes long. That's how long I expected it to be. Let me see if I can't at least get some type, because I know they're on a timeout right now. Let me see if I can't get some video for me to at least call a little bit. No, I'll have to sign in, and I'm not doing that right now. So yeah, that's gonna do it. Again, I just wanted to make sure that this got out nicely, because I've been spotty this year covering the Central District, and I did not want it to be that way here. And since this is my favorite time of the year, and just being able to once again go here and just fill out a bracket and just see what happens with this one. This is going to be very interesting because I went to Vincennes. I am a Trailblazer, so I'm personally focused on this game and hoping that goes well for my Trailblazers. It's going to be a battle regardless of who they play. But like I said, on Selection Monday when I posted that video, this side of the bracket was stacked. We had some blue blood. Well, I want to call Jones a blue blood quite yet, but we had them fall, and we had South Plains fall, who is a blue blood, fall to NOC-Enid, and we got. Indian Hills is an up-and-coming team that's in the tournament every year. Vincennes and CSI, I would say CSI is a fairly new one that is always in the tournament, so makes sense that we see that. But yeah, for right now, that I'm going to call it. That's going to do it for this evening. It's a short stream, I know, but I wanted to make sure that I got all the critical information out that I needed to for me to do a production version of this starting tomorrow night. And hopefully I'll be able to do that, work schedule permitted. If not, I might have to do this live again. But that's going to do it. I will see you guys probably late tomorrow night. As like I said, these games go until 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The next 3 nights, it goes till 9 p.m. tonight, or 11 p.m. is when this game will finish tonight, tomorrow night, and Tuesday night, at least. But yeah, for me, that's going to do it. I will see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.